Hi, are you aware that in 2003, Nigeria passed a law that states that only Nigerian ships are allowed to trade along our coast? Let me simplify that. So in 2003, Nigeria passed a law that states that, look, as long as you are trading within the country, as long as a ship is moving from point A in one part of the country to point B in another part of the country, that ship has to be a Nigerian ship. So let's say, for example, you want to move um, petroleum, you want to move crude from River State to like Lagos State via sea. What that law is saying is that that crude oil must be carried by a Nigerian ship. So it's more or less like the local content law. So this act is known as the Cabotage Act of 2003. Is this law actually what is happening today? Over 20 years ago, this law was made. Are we actually following the law? Another very interesting part of this law. In fact, let's make it a story time. Come, let me tell you. This particular Cabotage Act, when it was made in 2003, the federal government now said, look, we're going to make not just this act, but we understand the fact that it's very expensive to build a ship. Building a ship is actually very, very expensive. So the federal government said, look, let's make our people enjoy more. So what are we going to do? They now decided to do to have what is called the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, otherwise known as the CVFF. So that CVFF is a fund that was established for the sole purpose of helping individuals in Nigeria to build their own ship. That was the plan, to have domestic ships. So the goal of that CVV was to give out loans to people seeking to get a domestic ship or to build a domestic ship, such that there will be domestic ships everywhere. Everybody will have domestic ship. Simply put, it's not as if even if they even give it, everybody's going to own domestic ship. So the funniest part about this CVFF is, from that time till now, guess how much that the government has gathered? $700 million. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. $700 million. That's what the government has gathered, all in the name of CVFF. But who have they disbursed that fund to? Because the problem why this Cabotage Act is not working is because we don't have domestic ships. No, but there's no domestic ship anywhere. They say, oh, there's no domestic ship. For to give waivers to foreign ship. Let's waive off this law for foreign ships to actually trade along our coast. Let's just allow them. After all, how many domestic ships do we have? But then we have the CVFF. Why are they not disbursing the funds? So here's what is happening. Earlier this year, the Minister of Blue Economy now said, you know what? This fund, this $700 million has been tied down for too long. We're going to start disbursing this money to people that actually need it, so that we can give it out on loan. Let's start disbursing so that people can go and get, build their ships. This is November 2025, and they have still not started disbursing this fund. So what that means is that foreign vessels are still trading along our coast. What that means also is that we still don't have enough domestic ships on our water. So I ask, is it that before this year runs out, or maybe by 2026, they will start disbursing this fund? Or that was just a promise that is lost at sea? Because it will actually be nice to see the Cabotage Act play out in full force. Hi, my name is Vera Inibianazo. Welcome to day 8 of my Maritime Law series.